All right, guys, let's go ahead and kick over to Thursday Night Football and the battle of the first overall picks. Mayfield, Nick Chubb, and company notched a 35-30 win over Cincinnati on the road, getting their first win of the season. It was a dominant game from Cleveland's rushing attack as Chubb and Kareem Hunt combined for 210 yards on 32 carries, good for 6.5 yards per. Bengals rookie quarterback did his best to combat that. Old Joe Burrow threw for 316 yards and 3 touchdowns, but it wasn't enough. So, Drake, what stood out most to you about last night's game?
Well, two things, and you mentioned one in the lead in is that Browns run game and the Bengals offensive line. Listen, I thought Joe Burrow played pretty doggone good with the fact that that offensive line, it fell asleep a lot of times. It really did. Myles Garrett, let me tell you something. He made quite a few plays, but that strip sack over there by the goal line, that was something. And the Browns did what you should do. You punch it in like 2-3 plays later and call it a day. But listen, me and Jay, we was talking about this earlier. Hey, Stefanski, what we doing here? You got the recipe right there. If I give you the recipe to make the pie, just make the pie. Just don't give me no bull crap. Don't ask me about a substitute. Don't ask me would I rather this or no. I gave you the recipe. Let's use that. And that's what the Browns got last night. I don't want to see Baker Mayfield throwing it 40 times. Get that out of there. That recipe is disgusting. That business went out of business. Now, I gave you the one that could be successful. Run the ball. You have 2 elite runners back there, and they chomping at the bit. Oh, by the way, we talked about this. What did you do this offseason? Oh, you only took Jack Conklin, the guy that Tennessee wanted back really, really bad, and you brought him over. And what did you do with your first pick? Oh, Jedrick Wills out of Alabama. So clearly you made an emphasis on making that offensive line capable to block and pass. So why not use them? Listen, and I know this for a fact, offensive linemen would rather push than pull, meaning they would rather run block than pass block. So let them do that. Let them do what they have their strength to do, right? So in a nutshell, I like what the Browns did. I did pick the Bengals before the game because I just thought the Browns was going to come out and do Browns things, come out here with the flippity flop, flip. And, Baker Mayfield throw it 50 times for no apparent reason or whatnot. And his tight end dies on the primetime TV. But that's not what happened. On the flip side, to give a little credit, hey, Joe Burrow, he tried. Hey, he gave it what he got. 61 attempts is a bit much, but it wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault that his defense was getting steamrolled over there and, the Browns kept the ball most of the time and he had to play catch-up. He tried, but he found out it's levels to this. This ain't LSU, buddy. These dudes getting paid a lot to knock your head off, so you best be with it. But I thought he did good. Listen, Joe Mixon, what is that? Are you 46? Come on, Joe Mixon. Really? That ain't gonna cut it. Help your quarterback out, man. AJ Green. I was up. The most disappointing performance last night for me was AJ Green for both teams.
You think he's hurt? You think he's hurt?
Either he's hurt or he's unmotivated. Right. One of the two. He hurt or unmotivated. I don't know which one it is. So I don't know. But that ain't it. Like I seen it was a clear pass, and I want to say this was in the third quarter. Joe Burrow threw the pass slightly behind him. It was behind him. Not going to deny that. But A.J. Green got a hand on the pass. Come on, A.J. Green. You got to catch that. Come on, man. You at one time was one of the top 5 receivers in the league. Come on, man. Really? And so I don't know what that's about. I thought Tyler Boyd played very well for Joe Burrow. He was probably the go-to guy for Joe Burrow last night between him and the tight end Azuma, but he got hurt and he ended up leaving the game. So Tyler Boyd, I thought he showed up, but you can't ask this guy to come out here and be your franchise quarterback when your franchise wide receiver is over here at McDonald's trying to get a number 1 with extra mac sauce. That's not it. We need you to show up, buddy. This is a primetime game. This was a game that you could have made people put some respect on the Bengals name, and you sitting out here limping around, coming in here with the part-time attitude. Like, yo, No, it's no quarantine. I need you to catch the ball. I need you to help out your quarterback. So I was a little perturbed with that. I was upset. I thought A.J. Green could have played better. But all in all, I had to put some respect on that run game. Nick Chubb played awesome. Kareem Hunt, I thought, played awesome. If you have a 1-2 punch, that's what you want your 1-2 punch to do, what they did last night. And they took the pressure off Baker Mayfield. I even heard Baker Mayfield ask what his next commercial idea should be because he had a chance to actually sit over there and think. But listen, and you actually see the wide receivers over there talking to him. You see Jarvis Landry. You see Odell Beckham. You see Austin Hooper. They're over there talking to him, and they saying, hey, look here, champ. Lift your head up. This is the way we're going to have to play then. This is what we got to play. When you get your opportunities to throw the ball, make sure you're crisp and precise. But listen, Savansky, you already looking better than Freddie Kitchens because you already seem like you catching on to something. Make me proud and do more of this year so I don't seem like a extreme dumbass for saying that you was going to come in there and fix something, all right? So with that said, like I said, the Browns run game, I thought that stood out. And the Bengals offensive line, they got to tighten up. They got to help their franchise quarterback stay off the ground because it got a little bit ridiculous last night.
Yeah, let me start in the just the big picture overall. I like to shout out the NFL sometimes. We know these Thursday night football games from time to time. They're just kind of, let's just throw these random teams in there and give them, it's kind of like the token primetime matchup. That's what this is. That's what this really is. But I think the NFL should be pleased because we'll see your fellows in there next week against Miami.
It's not a Tennessee game. You can't take that from us.
Hey, you're right. At least it's not Tennessee and Jacksonville. So I got a little variety brewing here. So credit to them. I'm just pleased as punch and looking forward to that one. But I mean, you got to consider this as a win for the NFL. You get 65 points from the state of Ohio. That's thrilling. 65 points from these two bumbling franchises. Because that's what they still are. I mean, as much as we want to think that they're improving, and they are. And Cincinnati, they really couldn't get worse. And Cleveland, I don't know if Cleveland could get worse based on their talent relative to what the output was last year. Much had to do with the just abhorrent head coaching hire made by the now unemployed John Dorsey. I mean, these dudes. I mean, you talk about being inept. Accumulating all that talent and just. Hiring some dope who've been, at the same level of coaching for 15 years. I mean, the guy was a tight end coach for 10 years. I'm getting way off track with Freddie Kitchens, but listen, yeah, it's all right. Really? But the big takeaways though here is I still think we really don't know anything about Cleveland yet. I mean, they got boat raced by Baltimore, and I think we all think Baltimore is just going to be a repeat of what they are last year. If Lamar Jackson improves at all throwing the football, they're going to be close to unstoppable. And then you look at you're rolling against Cincinnati, and Cincinnati is quite the opposite. It's like if you can't beat Cincinnati, then there's probably no hope for you. And even after beating Cincinnati, I mean, how impressive really was this? I mean, they were good in some areas, but it wasn't what you call a picture perfect performance. There's a couple areas that they were really good in. I think Drink's right on the money. And I think this was something that maybe they kind of figured out last year. But their running game is something I think they're going to have to lead on. And when you have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, you have that type of 1-2 punch. I mean, why wouldn't you do that? And of course, we know a running game is a quarterback's best friend. I think Baker Mayfield, he's definitely a guy that could definitely he could benefit from that. That's going to lead to kind of more conservative numbers in the passing game. I hope guys like Odell Beckham are okay with that because their numbers are going to suffer due to that. That's kind of how they're going to have to play because I gotta be honest with you. I'm still not all that confident in Baker Mayfield. He's the guy that's got to throw the ball like Drink said 40 times to win a football game. I just don't see it. I think they're one of those teams that's going to have to play from ahead. Just like they did last night. You think about it, they were up, multiple scores for most of that second half. Cincinnati kept battling back to their credit. And but to Cincinnati, you look at what they've got going on right now. And it looks like the problem there's a structural problem that they still have, and it's up front on both sides. I mean, you look at you give up 215 rushing yards. That just says you're weak up front on defense, and then. You really couldn't run the football with Joe Mixon, and then the pass protection. And I'm surprised it wasn't more than 3 sacks. It seemed like Joe Burrow was under duress for much of this game. But overall, and one quick point on Joe Burrow, this is no, we talked about, yeah, Joe Burrow, you want to pick him with the number one overall pick, but he's not bringing Justin Jefferson, Joe Brady, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. None of these dudes are coming with him. So there's going to be growing pains. You're going to hold your fair share of L's because the team just isn't all that good, and we see that now, particularly, like I said, up front on both sides of the ball. So I think that's going to be a challenge for him. I think he's got the mental toughness and wherewithal to overcome that. But I do think that's the biggest challenge for him. And although I will say to me, Joe Burrow has looked okay so far. I think you can be satisfied with what you got so far. Their weaponry isn't terrible, and you're right. I would like to see a little bit more out of AJ Green. I think motivation is a question mark with him. Remember, I've been on this for a long time now. I think they've done that man wrong. When you look at a guy that has done that much for that organization. And I think when you look at the rebuilding of that franchise, it would make all the sense in the world to just either pay the man or let him go to a team that might actually win something, because Cincinnati's just not there yet.
Yeah, just a quick note on that. He is playing on the franchise tag this season after making it clear he did not want to be tagged, either want to be released or paid. So, and after, the injury year he had, and the year before that, he wasn't that great. So, you could have probably got a nice, reasonable deal done. And it sounds like he would have done that to stay with the team. And instead they opted to do neither. So that stinks for him. But, I really like what I saw with Joe Burrow last night. I'm not going to gush over Cleveland much. This is what we expect out of this team at this point, right? I mean, the level of talent they have, it's win now or just go back to being Cleveland, because there's no more, this crap is over, right? You've got this Chubb Hunt backfield's ridiculous. They've got Odell Beckham. They got Mayfield. I mean, this team should be good. They've only loaded up on more talent this offseason. You should do this every game. And like you said, Jay, 35-30, there was some garbage time heroics, but still, this doesn't feel – you feel like you should have went in there and just handled this game with the way they're running the ball and whatnot. But that's neither here nor there. They got the job done. They won, so we do have some kind of an adult in the room. But I think there's a lot of hope if you're a Bengals fan. I know the moral victory thing gets all – trust me, I know all about them. I mean, I hate getting pat on the head after a loss. That's okay, buddy, because your quarterback did some stuff. You're like, okay, dude, whatever. But – I think, obviously the trenches are their problem. It's not Joe Burrow. Let me give you a couple numbers last night. 61 pass attempts. That is second most in NFL history for a rookie, trailing only FSU Heisman Trophy winner Chris Winkie. That's 63 hoist performance, and that's just one ahead of Carson Wentz. He had one of those rookie debuts where he threw 60 in one night. But of those, he was pressured 21 times, hit 7 times, and sacked an additional 3 times on 64 total dropbacks. And if you want to add in his 7 scrambles, that's 17 hits he took throughout the game. That's not going to cut it. I mean, this man's pretty big. He's pretty tough, it looks like. And he said he felt good after the game, but you try that in week 13 when it's 14 degrees out there and you're getting smacked by the Ravens again. Tell me how that goes. But what's more interesting is that Cincinnati actually thrived in the empty set. So according to ESPN Stats and Info, Burrow was 14-21 for 129 yards and had all 3 of his touchdowns in the empty set. He had just 1 pressure in that set. You remember they ran that in LSU a lot. I mean, they loved that setup in LSU. Empty backfield, Burrow does this thing. And all other formations, he was 23-29, 187, and he was pressured or hit on 47% of his dropbacks. So, we know that he's fearless when he steps up in the pocket. He's got a quick mind to make those reads against the defense. And I thought he was throwing the ball well. I thought he looked good, and he's also got those wheels. So those empty sets help out because you have a less chance to have a spy set. So there's a lot of good to like here from Burrow. But, yeah, you're not winning the game when your rookie quarterback's throwing the ball 60 times. I don't want Tom Brady or Drew Brees throwing the ball 60 times in a game. So that's not just Joe Burrow. And also, your defense is giving up 200 yards per game on the ground, averaging 5 yards a carry. That it's not going to do it. And what's sad for Cincinnati is they actually spent money on this defense. They don't ever spend money on anything ever. They bought DJ Reader in. They brought Mackenzie Alexander in. That's not even – there's some other dudes they brought in. And,
Trey Waynes.
Yeah, Trey Wayne. And the defense –
by the way, wasn't I skeptical on every one of those acquisitions? I was like, what are we doing throwing out all this money to dudes who are just – I don't consider any of these dudes household names, but
they really weren't. To do. And especially you got a guy like DJ Reader, and you're still giving up that kind of yards per game, and you got one job, man. But anyway, Cincinnati can be 2-0 if they could kick field goals and stop the run. Both these games were possibly winnable. But, hey, you know what is what it is. You're 0-2. And Joe Burrow said, hey, man, I'm 0-2. I don't like it. This sucks. And I like hearing that from these guys saying, no, I'm not going to accept this. This is crap. I'm going to go win some games. And, this man hasn't lost a whole lot in his career. So see how it goes.